on Planet X, we hit the streets of LA with the Livin' It crew, with a radical film on the world of skateboarding and a new look on life. Here's a sample.
Stay on board for the action right here on Planet X.
Vertigo pogo sticks are big air springs, so air gets you air. You're fighting gravity. That's one of the most pleasurable things that a human can do, I think. When you're weightless, it just feels good. Bouncing down the street, 6 feet in the air, just going zing, zing. It's a different animal.
Vertigo.com.
I started skating in '87.
How old were you?
7, 6. No, I just turned 7. Boarding on, my dad made me a lunch ramp, and I was always like skating, and I knew how to ollie up curbs and stuff. But '93, I think, was when I started taking serious, because skateboards, you have such a big field to do stuff. Then you can always learn. You're always gonna be learning. No matter who it is, always have something to learn. It's just like God. You always learning with. Even if you know a lot about God, you don't know nothing. Skateboard to me is kind of like, even if you're a really good skater, you're gonna always have issues. Then you can't do it or you can't make it.
action right here on Planet X.
Yeah, I started skating when I was 9. We would just push around, you know, skate up to the schools around where we lived and just try to ride off the curbs. And we started making little ramps, little rickety wood ramps off that we'd like, you know, try to do mute grabs off and judos. And the people that influenced me were the ones that I just saw in videos and magazines. Back then I was really psyched on Tommy Guerrero, Eric Dressen, and Nadas. I was really into the street skaters. Having faith that he has a plan is a lot like having faith in skateboarding, that you gotta trust that you're gonna remember how to ollie when you're going toward whatever you're going, that like if you don't ollie, you could get seriously injured. I'd say faith in God is like you gotta go throughout your life and know that you can get into some pretty crazy situations, but He's always going to be there to help you jump it.
It goes 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 for my looking who got it goes 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 for my looking who got in the back door, 4 for the honey dips, 5 for my bros, and death is my breath kept in and no flow when it's so slow, and see my life don't grow, and my raps only collect half so it feels every word that I write seals my fate, losing every single one of my friends today, and it's Kuwait in my mind, a continual war chiming in my head, yelling at the past ain't dead, but it's alive and well, with many stories to tell, exiting one cell, only to a new jail, destined to fail it seems, and my positivity is trapped in dreams, but I gotta let it shine to affect my team, I can't go back, gotta press on black, your life goes on, no matter if your life is tattered and you can't fix what went wrong, life goes on, the pattern in your life is tattered. You're a hook in your own theme song. Life goes on. You're a fighter, but the grip is tighter, and you know that you can't stand long. Life goes on. Oh, it's gonna get brighter. Life goes on. It's gonna get brighter. Life goes on.
If ever you're hungry, you should never feel lonely if God is with you. If I can know that I will make a return, give me Francis' myrrh, his ashes in the urn to learn. Life goes on, chant the psalm, or sing Solomon songs. All of them troubles be gone, we lifelong with this. I'm sick as rhyme kicking consciousness and time slipping. That's why I'm taking risks. It's us prosecuted without cause. The long case chasing an outlaw who did nothing to no one. They just don't understand who he is, where he comes from. But I know when you're playing their game and stuck on this here plane, you'll always be fair game. Survival, you're liable to go nuts, but still gotta hold up. I know it gets tough, believe.
Life goes on, no matter if your life is tattered and you can't fix what went wrong. Life goes on, no matter if your life is tattered, you're a hook in your own theme song. Life goes on, you're a fighter, but the grip is tighter, and you know that you can't stand long. Life goes on, oh, it's gonna get brighter. Life goes on, oh, it's gonna get brighter. Life goes on.
Truth is told, but you can grow. Live for life and love, levitating men. Truth is told, but you can grow.
Stay on board for the action right here on Planet X.
Welcome back to Planet X. Let's take a look at some old schoolers who have seen the streets of LA from a different perspective.
Whatever. My first memory of skateboarding probably was somewhere around when I was 10 years old. I'd gotten a skateboard for Christmas and, just took it out in the driveway and hit the pavement.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, country we live in. Pledge allegiance to the flag of this country we live in.
Well, I mean, the biggest struggle that I've ever had in life was, with drugs. Because I'd reached such a point that it literally, I had no control. It completely controlled me. It robbed me of everything that meant anything to me. Where I'd gone in my life, I lost everything. I'd been out for 3 days and 3 nights doing drugs, partying. I tried drug treatment centers and 12-step programs, and unfortunately, I even ultimately had been sentenced to prison. And I remember when it was drug-related, a guy pulled out 2 pistols and aimed them at me. And as I ran, I dove through a screen with him shooting at me. Sitting there on the edge of my bed, I just started crying because I was confronted with reality in a way I've never been confronted before. Because for the first time I could see how not only was I destroying my life, but I was destroying the lives of everybody else who was connected to me and around me. Sitting there crying, I just looked up at the ceiling and I said, God, if you're real, why won't you help me? And I know that God heard that prayer.
God bless America, my home, sweet home. My home, my
Enrique Esparza, who lived down the street, he got a brand new setup with urethane wheels, and he gave me his old board. It was clay wheels, and we just started riding up and down this road right here, and that was it. 1975 probably, it's the very first time I saw a skateboard.
Hey, Janine.
The guy that owned the company that I rode for at the time knew that. He used to try to get me mad before contests, so I'd get all amped up and on edge, and
What do you
so my whole career was always like trying to skate right on the edge, so it was like always losing my temper and stuff.
wouldn't go there? Wondering of you. Thinking of our rooms.
This is the home I grew up in. I lived here. I was born in Pasadena, and I lived here my whole life. I moved 3 years ago. I was raised in this house, and that's where we moved our half pipe up into this yard.
Yeah.
So that's where all the ramp jams and everything were.
Would care.
Stay on board for the action right here on Planet X.
Vertigo pogo sticks are big air springs. So air gets you air. You're fighting gravity. That's one of the most pleasurable things that a human can do, I think. When you're weightless, it just feels good. Bouncing down the street, 6 feet in the air, just going zing, zing. It's a different animal.
Vertigo.com.
Welcome back to Planet X and our coverage of Livin' It LA. Let's get back to the skate action. That wraps up this week's show. Look for future episodes covering the world of skateboarding and the Livin' It crew. We'll see you next time on Planet X.
I got my cup running over. It's full of love from no other. I'll be satisfied forever. It's because of you, because of you. I feel it flowing all through me, into my heart, down to my feet. There's something
I started skating in '87.
How old were you?
7, 6. No, I just turned 7. Board, my dad made me a lunge ramp, and I was always like skating, and I knew how to ollie up curbs and stuff. But '93, I think, was when I started taking serious, because skateboards, you have such a big field to do stuff. And then you can always learn. You're always gonna be learning. No matter who it is, always have something to learn.
I claim this world in the name of Planet X.
Planet X in the air since 1995.